Michael Goodwin, a California inmate. I said, what about this sport motocross in a stadium? Everyone told me it wouldn't work.
The quest to be Monster Energy Supercross champion is about to begin.
What's going on, everybody? It's Ted again here with CountdownCityGeeks.com. Got another fantastic interview for you. Founder of the Road to Recovery Foundation, and also one of the major focuses in the upcoming Essential documentary on Supercross racing and motocross racing is the one and only Jimmy Button. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Ted?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I know this is a kind of a huge deal for all the fans of Supercross and the entire community in the industry. This is like the definitive, I feel like, documentary on the entire sport, which I'm going to be honest, I know very little about. I've never attended one, an event of any of these kinds, but I am super interested in now trying to catch one of these events. Tell us about the project and why it was so important to kind of tell the story of this extreme sport.
Well, I think that we're not as mainstream as I think we would like to be, right?
Mhm.
We're not stick and ball, we're not PGA Tour, these types of things that you're seeing, blasted on TV kind of 24/7, right? But we are moving in that direction. We are getting there as a community, as a sport. And so Paul and the guys, this is a blood, sweat, and tears type of culmination of putting everybody together. The archive footage that they were able to unearth, I would say, it's been pretty fantastic. And it's even
Amazing.
great for us that are involved in the sport all day, every day, right? That we get to see glimpses of the past that maybe we didn't quite remember or had forgotten about. So it's really great to be able to introduce the sport to so many people, to open their eyes to the caliber of athletes that are competing, and the just pure excitement that the sport really brings out.
I would love to try or have the opportunity to jump on a dirt bike, but I feel like trying to go through some of those jumps or some of those turns at those crazy speeds, I would just end up in the stands somewhere. I think that fans probably don't understand all the skill sets and the athleticism that it takes to just be in the sport. And the documentary does a fantastic job of really calling it out and helping us really determine that these guys aren't just riding on fast bicycles. Like, you really have to be in peak physical condition. And the thing that really blew my mind, and you can help me understand this a little bit, racers are not breathing normally while they're going through a course. Try and explain that to me, because I'm trying to comprehend how in the world is that possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people look at it and they think, oh, it must be just like a motorcycle that you see on the street. You're kind of sitting there, you're twisting a throttle, you're hitting the brakes, whatever it is, just to kind of go forward and move around a little bit. But it's a completely different dynamic. The bikes are very heavy, they're very powerful.
Mhm.
So the physique that you need to ride one of these bikes at a very high level is unbelievable. I would put any of our athletes up against any of the top athletes in the world to see what they would be able to do against each other. But to your point and the question about the breathing, it's one of the few sports that you're having your heart rate elevated between kind of 180 and probably 205 for a duration of time between like 25 and 35 minutes. And you're doing that a few times a day, right? So it's unbelievable, the amount of training that goes into it. Not only the riding the bike and becoming the best that you could be in the world, but also the physical training that goes into it is quite high. there's a few places on a track that you'll see that guys do hold their breath. And it's amazing that you would end up holding your breath for 10 seconds or 15 seconds while doing, the obstacles that are going around the track. But that is one of the things that does happen. And quite honestly, the guys that are very good at controlling their breathing um, end up performing at a higher level because they can control their heart rate a little bit better than the rest of the guys. But yeah, it's a very, very complex. I would say it's a very complex, dynamic sport that unless you go to an event and you actually see it, it's really hard to kind of grasp it because it does look fairly simplistic when you see it on TV or on the big screen. But when you go see it in person, and if you have I would say the pleasure of being able to go down to the stadium floor and be able to see the jumps, you're not looking down at the jumps anymore. Now you're looking up and you're getting a very different perspective. So, oftentimes we'll take VIPs around the track and I show them, and they have no idea until they get down there, like how big this stuff is, because it looks very small from a stadium or from a different viewpoint. And so once they get down there, it's interesting to see like the interest and also like the respect level, like just creep up like very quickly. So it's great. And I've never taken a person to an event and then not walk away and just be, a complete crazy fan afterwards.
I'm gonna have to do that one of these days. Get on that track and walk up one of those hills if I can make it. If I can make it, I'm not saying I can. If I can walk up.
Well, where are you located?
You know what's funny is I'm in San Antonio, Texas,
Okay.
and part of this documentary showcased a 1977 motocross event in San Antonio, and I'm like,
Yep.
where was this at? Nobody's told me about this. We have this, long history with motocross in my city. Not
Yeah.
talked about, had no idea. It was wonderful hearing about that.
Yeah, that's the old Rio Bravo track. My dad had a Honda dealership in Texas, and so I used to hear about that all the time myself. But if you're down in San Antonio, we should get you up to one of the Texas events next year.
I'll be there. I'll be there with
Yeah,
with bells and whistles on.
yeah, you'll have a blast.
Absolutely. The documentary is called Pay Dirt, the story of Supercross, and your um showcase in it is one of tragedy and perseverance. Now, I don't want you to give away the entire movie right now, but talk to us a little about just how important it was for you and probably challenging. I assume it's challenging, but you felt so much what conviction, right? To kind of tell your story to help not only fans but future athletes in the industry understand the risks, the benefits, the precautions you need to take. How important was it for you to get your story across to the audience?
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate that when they were putting, call it the script together, that Paul and the guys had reached out. Um, and they said, hey, we want you to tell your story, which no one had really done before. I had a very well, my crash that led to me becoming injured was actually very, very small,
Mm,
but it was catastrophic.
yeah.
Breaking my neck, getting paralyzed from the neck down. um, and that's a very humbling experience, to say the least, going from being, an athlete in the 0.1% to not even being able to go to the restroom or feed yourself or move yourself, because I was paralyzed from the neck down. So I was, and I still am considered an incomplete quadriplegic, even though I have my faculties now, which took a while to get back. But, I can move, I can walk, I wouldn't say I could jump up and down or run, but I get around okay. And I was very blessed and fortunate for that to come around. But they did give me the opportunity to talk about my accident, show some footage of me uh, on the ground in San Diego where the accident happened. So it was great because after my accident, we started our foundation to help injured athletes when they go through a similar thing that I did. And it just brings some good light and good attention to what it is that we try to do with the foundation. um, because it's a very trying situation when it happens. As you can imagine, this is a catastrophic life event. So the fact that we were able to build this foundation that can go out and help the next kid that gets hurt is a good thing. And over the course of the past 25 years, we've helped over 200 riders who have had similar injuries to mine. And we've raised over $10 million for these guys to help them get through the recovery process.
That's amazing, incredible, and your story, yeah, it's like I mentioned, it's tragic, and but it's also one filled with just perseverance. It really showcases the will of human behavior, and just my respect to you and for everything you've done with the foundation and helping athletes going through similar situations as you did. It's a story that everybody should hear about, and so I really do appreciate you being a part of this project and telling that story.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
The industry and the sport itself has gone through some evolution over the last few years, which the documentary also calls out. Where do you think the sport is going to be in, let's say, 5 years, 10 years, if things keep heading in the direction they're going?
I mean, it's quite amazing, even it feels like, my career has been over for 25 years now. Yet it feels very recent, quite oddly enough. I mean, I think that shows how old I'm getting. When 25 years doesn't seem like that long anymore.
It doesn't. It
Um,
really doesn't.
but the sport is evolving, almost like we're developing quantum computers. I mean, it's evolving so quickly. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the knowledge and the technology that is out there. The riders are training. They're training more efficiently. They're riding more efficiently. The bikes are being developed more efficiently, and so uh, I would say it was very linear, the development before. It was like slowly increasing, slowly increasing. But I mean, it's almost, I would say in the last couple of years, it's almost gone parabolic.
Yeah.
Um, the guys that are competing right now, that are racing for the championships right now, I mean, these guys are at a level that is just, it's unreal. Even myself, being someone that raced at the highest level, I watch these guys and I'm amazed at what they're able to do. And but that's the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
Every generation should be better than the former. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the 6-year-old kid that's out there right now riding his dirt bike around in his in his front lot of his house. What is he going to end up being once he gets to the professional level? And it's going to be fun to watch. It certainly will be entertaining for the fans, and and I'm a fan of the sport. I'm here for it.
The documentary is out on July 18th. It's going to be on platforms everywhere, video on demand, as well as Apple. You can pre-order it now. But I wanted to ask you, you've had a lot of sort of heroes and icons in the sport really featured in this documentary. Jeremy McGrath really stood out as sort of the Wayne Gretzky of the sport. Do you think that someone will come along and potentially pass all of his accolades, his race wins, everything that he accomplished?
I
Is that
mean,
possible?
Jeremy was, we were in each other's weddings, good friend. He was my teammate for a number of years. Um, I don't know. It's, he was able to sustain a level for so long and win championships for so many years that it is very, 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 it was difficult to do it then. It's certainly as difficult, if not more difficult, to do it now. Um, I think it's tough. I really do, because I think that you have a new hot shoe kid that'll come in, right, and will be winning races, winning races, winning races. But to do it for 7 seasons, to win races for 7 seasons, I mean, you think of the greats, right? You think of the Gretzkys, you think of the Jimmy Johnsons in NASCAR, you think of the Michael Schumachers and the Lewis Hamiltons in Formula One racing. And they don't come around that often, right? It's very difficult to sustain that high a level in a sport as dangerous as this is,
Yeah.
because no matter how good you are, you're going to hit the ground and you're going to have injuries. And so again, I think there's some guys that will start their careers and start getting close, but to actually get to that milestone, I mean, I guess I would love to see it because I just don't think it's possible. But never say never. I've certainly learned that in life.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you about what is sort of the main parts of this documentary that you really want to come across to fans. Like, what are the takeaways that you hope audiences have from watching this project?
I think for them to understand like the level of commitment, dedication that it takes, not only from the athlete themselves, but I think you'll see in it, when they speak to Ricky Carmichael and his family, you see the level of commitment that it takes from a village, right? You always hear that term, it takes a village. And it does. It takes everybody around you in a very selfish way to commit to getting somebody to this ultimate, kind of make it up to the top of Everest type of thing. So I would hope that people would come away with respect for the commitment, and the dedication and the perseverance and just the absolute blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to get to this level. To be entertaining for people, right? Because in the end, like no one's solving, hunger for the world here or anything like that. We're out there racing motorcycles, entertaining people in the stands. So it's kind of a meaningless job in a bit of a sense, right? Because you're not fixing or solving a problem, but
Yeah.
you are entertaining millions and millions of people every single Saturday night, which is it is a fulfilling thing to race in front of 60, 70, 80,000 people and win a race. That energy that you feel off of the crowd is quite amazing, and that's a drug that's chased every single Saturday night. They line up because you might win on one Saturday, but when you get to the next Saturday, you're no longer the winner. Now everyone's even again. So you're constantly chasing those wins and that fulfillment of success.
It really does say something about the type of individual that can be a part of this sport. A lot of the figures that we talk to in this documentary, or that are showcased in this documentary, for lack of a better term, they're all a little bit cocky. It takes a little bit of an ego, I think, to be in this sport. Talk about just, you know, what is it? What does it that all these individuals have in them that allows them to go out at these high speeds, jump at these incredible heights, with dozens of other people next to them, and really just put all out there on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's part of it, right? You got to be able to compartmentalize things, fear, adrenaline, all these things that you have to deal with during a race. You got to just be able to kind of, okay, I'm going to put that on this shelf. I'm going to put that on this shelf and go get the job done. And to do that, you have to be hyper type A personality. You're probably a little bit of a psychopath. But in a good way, right?
In a good way,
In a good
absolutely.
way. But you just, again, I think, not everybody can do this. Just not everybody can be Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Yeah.
It's, you to get to any, I say this to people oftentimes, is like, it doesn't matter if you're the best table tennis player in the world. The dedication to just continue to sharpen, to sharpen your tools and your craft. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Whether you're a chef, a doctor, the best attorney in the world, whatever it is. Um, I think everybody that makes it to that really, really high level, you're just wired a little bit differently. Um, you know, you don't want second place. You certainly don't want third and going further back, right? So you want to be the best. You want to win, and yeah, I mean it's a funny thing because once that part of your life is over, then you have to go find these other things to kind of fill that void. And for me, it's been a number of different things, business and so on and so forth,
Yeah.
and certainly now with me with my age, raising my family, raising my children. So there are great life lessons that certainly I was able to come away with from this sport. And what it took a lot away from me with getting injured, but it's also given me more or less my identity of who I am in our community and what we do. So yeah, I mean, it's a great sport. It's a good family sport. And I think that people should enjoy the film, and certainly, hopefully, that will spur them on to be like yourself, that want to go find a race that's going to be coming up in their city, and grab some friends and come out and check it out.
I love that the way you frame that. You found almost like your calling. You said your story is a remarkable one, and it's led you to creating your own foundation, Road to Recovery. Talk to us about how individuals can either get involved, or what are your future plans for the foundation, or the goals that you might have set for yourself and everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean the main reason for the foundation is to help out the riders who get injured, severe injuries, spinal cord injuries, traumatic brain injuries, these types of things. We're not talking about broken femurs and stuff like that. We're talking about major injuries here.
Wow.
Um, and our goals are very clear. We are in unfortunately this year we have had a very high number of injuries for whatever reason. You go through some years where you maybe have one or two, and this year we're north of 10 already for the year, and we're only halfway through the season. So
Man.
um, that's a tough one to swallow. We certainly like the years where it's a lot less. Or if it was zero, that'd be fantastic, but
Sure.
that's just going to be the case.
Yeah.
But we're it's a foundation based off donations. We go out and raise money and put on events so that we can raise money to help pay for these guys. And we do lots of things, whether it's getting them wheelchairs, getting them the best rehab that is possible, or helping them. Sometimes when they end up wheelchair bound. A lot of times their homes can't take wheelchairs, so we would go in and retrofit a home, or get them a car with hand controls or whatever it may be. So that's what we do. It's a day in, day out type of thing, and anybody can go onto the website. They can read about the foundation. They can certainly read about the current athletes that we're raising money for. And you can click on the link on the website, and you can donate $5, dollar, $100. Want to donate $1 million to everyone? You got some rich listeners out there, go right ahead. We're a 501(c)(3), so everything is a tax write-off for everybody, which is a good thing. But yeah, I mean, the goals are just to continue to grow it and continue to be here for these guys when they inevitably will get injured.
And the website, I'm going to have it below, is roadtororecovery.com. That's ROAD, the number two, and recovery.com. Jimmy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Once again, the documentary is Pay Dirt, the story of Supercross. It is out July 18th on video on demand and platforms everywhere. And I forgot to mention, I don't even know why I forgot, but it's also narrated by the great Josh Brolin, who is a friend of the show. He was in San Antonio last October, and I had a chance to interview him one-on-one for about 30 minutes. And so he's just one of the best individuals. And so if it has his stamp of approval on it, then it's absolutely good. So Jimmy, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. It's a fantastic documentary. Your story is a remarkable one, and can't wait to have folks at home go check it out.
Appreciate it, Ted. Thanks so much for the time today. You're willing to not have relationships. You're willing to give up everything that is normal for that one goal, to call yourself a Supercross champion.
Danger money! Danger line!
This is Pay Dirt, not the history of Supercross, but the story of Supercross.